It looks like some bad news on the horizon for the Marvels because it's less than a week from it opening, and so far it's looking like it's going to be one of the worst performing MCU projects, if not the worst performing MCU movie to date. This article from Deadline kind of mentions it. The main meat of the article right here is talking about the current box office, but then it does mention the Marvels if you scroll down a little bit because of how that's opening next weekend. The Marvel stems from a studio's inability to promote the Pig properly at Comic Cons. Even if the strike settles this week, it's not clear whether the Pig's cast will be able to attend the movie's fan event in Las Vegas this coming week. It would not be shocking if we see the Marvels charting one of the lowest openings for a Marvel Studios movie the next weekend in November with less than $70 million, lower than 2021's The Eternals that made $71.2 million in its opening weekend. The movie, not only a sequel to 2019's Captain Marvel, but also a crossover from Disney Plus series Miss Marvel. Pre-sales for the Marvels are pacing behind that of Black Adam and The Flash. Those respective openings, $67 million and $55 million. So they're saying this could actually make less than $55 million during its open weekend, which is pacing behind The Flash, which is just an abysmal opening for this movie, especially when you consider how much it costs to make. I mean, it didn't cost as much to make as The Flash, or at least not reported. I mean, The Flash was around $300 million versus the Marvels, which is closer to $250 million, or at least that's what's being reported. And if you see the global take for The Flash, I mean, that only made $270 million worldwide during its entire theatrical run. And with the budget on the Marvels, that probably needs to make around $700 to $800 million at a minimum in order to break even. And like it said in that article from Deadline, it's pacing behind The Flash, which didn't even break $300 million. I mean, this didn't even make its production budget. I mean, The Flash is like a colossal failure, but I mean, the Marvels could be not far behind it as in that one. And some of the people are trying to figure out like, well, what's going wrong with this thing? I mean, we already heard the director, Nia DaCosta, for the Marvels point out the strikes going on and saying that the actor's not able to promote it is ultimately what hurt it. But I have my doubts that that's really a contributing factor when it comes to this. I mean, let me know in the comments if you think this way. I mean, have you ever watched a movie because you like the actor in interviews? I mean, where you're like, I'm not really sure about that movie, but I saw the interview with the actor and it sounded good, so now I'll see. I mean, maybe there is something to it because studios definitely feel that it's worth doing, but I think it feels like almost a product of a bygone era where you need the actors to promote it, because in the age of social media, I really don't think it's that important. I mean, this article from the Hollywood Reporter from back in July was talking about the actors strike and writer strike and how it could actually impact the performance of movies and things like that, because I mean, it was still a new thing at the time, or at least the strike was still kind of new, but now people are using the same type of talking points. I mean, in this right here, I mean, they talk about how for the movie with Jennifer Lawrence, No Hard Feelings, one of the things that they actually did is got her on the internet show Hot Ones I mean, she wasn't necessarily talking about the movie because she's not able to do that, but appearing on a big show like that on YouTube and things was able to kind of get some publicity around her, even if she wasn't directly talking about the movie. And that is something the actors can do. They just can't talk about the movie directly. And okay, fine, union rules are not able to do that, but this is something that can be done. And this is what was said. Notes the program probably gets a lot more next day conversations anyway than a standard visit to one of the Jimmys, which are just regular interviews that they tend to do for this. Still, discourse over the box office impact of a press tour continues in light of The Flash underperforming. It's always debatable whether the star attraction translates into dollars, said Schwartz, noting that the movie's primary draw stems from its DC comic brand. And that's kind of what I think it is with the Marvels too. The people, I believe, already decided whether they want to see this movie or not. And I don't think the actors actually saying anything can really affect the outcome of that decision right now. I mean, people already know who Brie Larson is. I mean, they don't know who the other two in the movie are, but I mean, people know who they are. And it even points out in this thing, let's see, that the press moments most likely to affect the project's bottom line tend to come from top tier names like Tom Cruise. The higher the star power, the greater the impact. When asked if Miller's lack of participation hurt the Flash's finances, Lieberman offers a truism about a marketer's plight. The one thing that nobody has ever been able to overcome is a movie that people don't love. And that's really what it comes down to when it for the Marvels. I mean, people have already made up their minds whether they want to see this or not. And even if the actors are able to do a press tour for it right now and actively promote the movie, I don't think that's going to move the needle in its favor. I mean, people already have their minds made up about Marvel movies and even the actors in it at this point right now. So, I mean, if they're going to use that as an excuse, like saying like, oh, the movie underperformed because we weren't able to promote it, it's like, all right, fine, you can use that excuse, but deep down, we all know what it really was. This is just a movie that didn't appeal to people and people just weren't interested in seeing this. But let me know what you have to say about this in the comments below. And if you like this video, make sure you click that like button, share the video, and subscribe to the channel if you want to stay up to date with the latest news. Thank you.